In 1820, scientific explorer Stephen H. Long would coin the term the Great American Desert for the land west of the Missouri River. 24 years later, the Stephens-Townsend-Murphy Party would make a historic journey across this land, becoming the first immigrants to bring wagons over the Sierra Nevada mountains into Alta California, which was still part of Mexico. This party was named for three men: Elijah Stephens, Dr. John Townsend, and Martin Murphy Sr. Elijah Stephens was born in 1804 in South Carolina. During his lifetime, he would be a blacksmith, trapper, hunter, guide, soldier, farmer, and beekeeper. During the 1820s and 30s, he joined the thousands of fur trappers roaming the Rocky Mountains and the Northwest Territory. In 1844, he resigned his post as a government blacksmith to lead the Stephens-Townsend-Murphy Party west. He originally settled in San Jose, California, but found it too crowded. In 1864, he moved to the Kearns River area and became a chicken farmer and beekeeper. Suffering a stroke in 1883, he would spend the rest of his life in a hospital until his death in 1887. Dr. John Townsend was born in Fayette County, Pennsylvania in 1783. A licensed physician, he would join the Stephens-Townsend-Murphy Party in 1844 and would settle in San Francisco upon arriving in Alta California in 1845. He would serve as the fourth American alcalde, or mayor, of San Francisco. Unfortunately, he died along with his wife Elizabeth while treating a cholera outbreak in San Jose, California, leaving a small son who would be adopted by Elizabeth's brother, Moses Schallenberger. Born in 1785 in Ferns, County Wexford, Ireland, Martin Murphy Sr. was a devout Irish Catholic. Escaping Protestant rule and oppression, he would take his family to Quebec in 1820. In 1840, he would again move his family, this time to St. Joseph, Missouri. While in Missouri, he would lose his beloved wife, Mary Foley, due to malaria. After learning of Alta California from a Jesuit priest named Christian Huken, he would once again pull up roots and make the journey to Alta California in 1844. He would settle near Gilroy, California, where he would spend the rest of his life, dying in 1865 in Santa Clara, California. Upon leaving Council Bluffs, Iowa in May 1844, the Stephens-Townsend-Murphy Party consisted of 50 members and 11 wagons. 2 children would be born en route to Alta California, one at Independence Rock, Wyoming, and the other at Bear Camp west of present-day Truckee, California. The party consisted of 26 adult males with an average age of 35 years. It should be noted that historically boys 16 years or older were counted as adult males. There were 8 adult females averaging 26 years of age and 18 children under the age of 18 with an average age of 8 years. The Murphy family made up the largest contingent of the Stephens-Townsend-Murphy Party with 22 members. Martin Murphy Jr. and his wife, Mary Bolger, had 5 children, ranging in ages from newborn to 12 years. James Murphy and his wife, Ann Martin, traveled with their 2-year-old daughter. Ann Martin was the daughter of Patrick Martin, another member of the Stephens-Townsend-Murphy Party. Mary Murphy Miller and her husband, James Miller, would travel with their 5 children, from newborn to 8 years old. Completing the Murphy family were 4 of Martin Murphy Sr.'s unmarried children: Bernard, Ellen, John, and Daniel. 2 of Martin Murphy Sr.'s married daughters, Margaret Cale and Johanna Fitzgerald, remained in Quebec, but would later join the rest of the family in California. Other families included Caleb O. Greenwood, a guide for the party, and his 2 sons, John and Britton. Greenwood had 7 children in all, the others remaining in Missouri with relatives. Along with Isaac Hitchcock, another guide, was his widowed daughter, Elizabeth Patterson, and her 5 children. Patrick Martin brought his 2 grown sons, Dennis and Patrick. If you recall, his daughter Anne was married to James Murphy. Allen Montgomery was accompanied by his wife, Sarah, who would become a prominent citizen of Palo Alto. The four Sullivans, John, Mary, Robert, and Michael, would lose their mother, Mary, in 1832 and their father, Patrick, in 1841. Having known them for many years, they would be informally adopted by the Murphy family for the journey west. Completing the families was Dr. John Townsend and his wife, Elizabeth Schallenberger. Elizabeth was the older sister of Moses Schallenberger, who would later document his memoirs in Overland in 1844. There were several individuals who played different roles within the Stephens-Townsend-Murphy Party. While traveling alone, Joseph Foster is believed to have had a wagon based on his ownership of several oxen. Moses Schallenberger, brother of Elizabeth Schallenberger Townsend, would play an important role in the migration, spending 3 months alone in a cabin in the Sierra Nevada mountains, guarding the wagons that were left behind. There were several teamsters and drovers who drove wagons and tended herds of cattle and oxen. Edmund Bray would chronicle his remembrance of the journey in a letter to H. H. Bancroft in 1872, and Matthew Harbin would later own Harbin Hot Springs in Northern California. And there was one servant, Francis Dalen, who traveled with the Townsends. This is a breakdown of the wagons in the Stephens-Townsend-Murphy Party. Of the 11 wagons in the party, the 9 green wagons were identified by Moses Schallenberger in his Overland in 1844 memoirs. The blue wagon is believed to have belonged to Allen Montgomery and his wife Sarah Armstrong Montgomery based on their family status. The gray wagon is believed to have belonged to Joseph Foster based on the fact that he is reported to have owned several oxen. The 5 wagons denoted by mountain peaks indicate the wagons that were brought over the Sierra Nevada mountains in November 1844. The Stephens-Townsend-Murphy Party was marked by many firsts and accomplishments. They were the first to use multiple experience guides. They were first to take the Hitchcock-Greenwood, or later to be known as Sublet Cutoff. They were first to bring wagons across the 40-mile desert in Nevada. They were the first to build a permanent structure in the Sierra Nevada mountains, which would be later used by the Breen family of the Donner Party in 1846. They were first to find a wagon passage over the Sierra Nevada mountains, and the first to bring wagons into Alta California. They were the first to survive a winter in the Sierra Nevada mountains, and they arrived with all 50 members plus 2. And they were the first to go back over the Sierra Nevada mountains to retrieve their wagons in the spring of 1845. While the Stephens-Townsend-Murphy Party was not the first wagon train to head west, their grit and determination carved out the path that became the California Trail, leading hundreds of thousands of pioneers who would follow them to their new life in California.